Hello and welcome to another exciting lab with me, Francois, here at Cyber Pros Training. Now, today's lab, we are going to talk about CyberChef. Now, this is a tool that most people call the Cyber Swiss Army knife. It was created by the British government under their agency that's known as a GCHQ. This is their intelligence agency, what we would normally call the CIA here in the US. Now, CyberChef can do a lot of things. I'll be showing you some of those in this video. But you also got people that basically complain and be like, you know what? I can do what CyberChef does in Python, in some kind of a programming language. And that's true. That's true. CyberChef is not a programming language. It does have its limitations. So if you're a programmer, obviously you can do a lot of what CyberChef does in your choosing programming language. But CyberChef can be used and is used by a lot of cybersecurity professionals, from security analysts to incident responder, all the way to people who are doing forensics. We all use CyberChef for decoding things, for encrypting things, and all kinds of stuff, which I will be showing you some of those in this video. Now, without further ado, let's get right into it. So this is CyberChef. You can download it and use it locally in your machine, but they made it a lot easier for us to use it from the web as well. So all you do, just do a quickly Google search, type in, let's go to Google here, type in CyberChef. And the very first link that comes up, you click on that, it takes you to this kind of a GitHub link where CyberChef is housed. And then right here, you can do a lot of things unless you start looking at doing a malware analysis and start playing with the macros and downloading like dangerous code in your computer. Then I'll recommend install this into a virtualized environment that doesn't have internet access. But for the things we're going to be using CyberChef for today, we should be okay with just going to the web version of it and start using it. CyberChef comes with 4 different areas. Okay, one of them is the operations. Then you have the recipe area. Then you have your input. This is where you type in your stuff. Then you have your output. This is where the things you're typing and the things you're baking and the recipes you're putting here. It's going to show you the output in this section. So in the operations, you got a lot of things. You can transform things into the base64, into hex. You can take a look at some of the data format that we have here, including hex, binary, and so on and so forth. You even have some networking things, some public key things like cryptography type of things like a PGP, pretty good privacy. We will be playing with PGP in this video. Again, languages, all the way, like there's a lot of things, including hashing. There's a lot of things that you can do with CyberChef. So let's do some basics. Let's say that you have an input that says Cyber Pros Training, right? That's your input. As you can see, because we haven't applied in a recipe, it's going to show in the output as a Cyber Pros Training. But check this out. If I go to favorites and then apply base64, basically I'm trying to get this input and transform that into a base64. And as you can see, as soon as I apply that recipe, it's going in, it's transforming that to base64, which is awesome. Now, I didn't have to click bake. And the reason is because there's this auto bake that is pre-selected here. So many times when you apply an operations here and it doesn't automatically transform that for you, all you got to do is just click on bait and you're done. Now, if you want to get rid of any recipe, just drag it somewhere like on this location and it's going to be gone. And let's say that I want to transform this into a hash, right? So I can just search for a hash. It's another way to see the operations. It's by searching them here. And let's say that I search for MD5. I can grab either one of these, but let me just search for MD5. There we go. I grab this hash, I drop that there. Okay, you can see that this input has been hashed into an MD5 hash. Now, what if I want to add MD5 into the favorites? What do? All I do, I just grab it and just drop into the favorites. Now MD5, I basically expand the favorites. I should be able to see MD5 there. But let me take that and put it back to the recipe. Here I can pause it. I can also stop it, right? I can stop it from working as well. But I can also save this. Let's say that I've added a few sort of like hashes here, a few operations. And I'm getting ready to kind of save this, or I want to be able to use this recipe over and over again. So all I do is just click on this save recipe right there, and then I can give it a name. Just call this saved, and it's gonna save this into a few different sort of like formats, if you will. So there's this chief format, which includes all the recipes that I put it here. There's also the clean JSON, also as well as the compact JSON. So all I do is just pick the format and then I click on save. Then the beauty of CyberChef, it's going to give you like a link, a customized link that you can always click on to be able to see your recipe. That's kind of pretty cool. So I'm going to close out of this because we don't want to do that. Save that. And then let's close this. Clear this, clear the recipe or delete it. I'm going to go ahead and delete the input as well, so we can start from fresh and then start doing some cool stuff. Now, let's say that we want to do some basic CyberChef using multiple operations to be able to encode things, but as well as decoding them. So let's go ahead and create some input here. Let me just call this Cyber Pros Training. And let me just say cyber is all we teach. There we go. Now, this is the input, as you can see, is the same output. So let's apply multiple operations to this. The first thing that I can do, I can maybe reverse this. Okay, I can just search for reverse operations. I drag it out here. And as you can see, let me go ahead and remove that little space there. There we go. The Cyber Pros Training, Cyber is all we teach, has been reversed. Right? It's basically going from the first later, it's, switching them around. Now, another thing that I can apply here is Route 13. If you don't know Route 13, this is the Julius Caesar. Some people call this the Caesar cipher. But this is when we're rotating 13 letters, right, in this case. So right now it's going in, it's doing exactly just that, right? It's taking this already reversed output, and then it's rotating 13 letter to it, just like what you see here. Well, let's go ahead and just convert that to base 64. Okay, I'm going to say base 64. Where are you? To base 64. All right, I'm going to drop that there, and look at that. Now this has been transformed to a base 64. I've used multiple recipes here to be able to encode this. Cyber Pros Training, cyber is all we teach. But let's say that for some reason, somebody had sent you this. Besides, if I copy this, let's go ahead and copy the output here, and then let's paste that into the input. Okay, right there, just like that. Let's say somebody sends you this, and you're trying to figure out, okay, well, what is this means? So what we can do, we can decode this. Let me go ahead and remove all the recipe here. Okay, now we only have that, right? This encoded message. So what we can do, we can bring this back to life to that original message. And all we do, we basically just apply the same recipes, if you will. So we will go ahead and start. This looks like it's a base 64. I'm going to go ahead and just start with the base 64 and then say from base 64. Let's go ahead and find from. There we go. I'm going to drop that here. Now, as you can see, it just went on and just basically converted this into that right there. And looking at this, looks like, it looks gibberish, but it looks like letters may have been shifted. So we can add Route 13, right? And we drop that there. Then look at that. Now we can start seeing some little things here and there. That looks like it's cyber, right? That kind of stuff. So we can then go ahead and just apply the reverse. Apply that there, and then voila, voila. we brought this back to life. We were able to encode things and be able to decode things. Let's take this to the next level. I'm going to go ahead and copy that again, the CyberPros training and Cyber is all we teach. I'm going to drop that there. I'm going to copy that and put it there. Delete all the recipe. So we have that starting from scratch. Let's say that we want to play with some simple ciphers or things like a ROT13 and XOR, that kind of stuff. So what we can do, let me leave that here, the input. I can go here and just search for ROT13. I drop that there. And early, I did use this, but what I wanted to do, let me show you this very quickly. This is literally substituting 13 letters. If I go here and just put the amount 1, you can see that this just literally shifts 1. It's what we normally call a substitution. Some people call this the Caesar cipher, right? All the rot, it's rotating, letters and numbers and things. All of this was originally used by Julius Caesar. And that's why, we still call this, the Caesar cipher. But ROT13 is one of the example of those. And as you can see, if I put 1 there, it's going in, instead of saying C, it's saying D. Instead of saying Y, it's saying Z, and so on and so forth. So let's go and change that to 13. So you can basically shift 13 letters. And now that we have this here, let's say that you have gotten this right there. Let me just paste that in there. If as soon as I paste that in there, you can see that it converted that back to the original form. But let me go ahead and delete that, right? Get rid of that recipe. They said that this is all you had, and you didn't know that they use ROT13. Well, one of the things that you can do, you can brute force this. So CyberChef comes with a ROT13 brute force. So if I had to take ROT13 brute force and drag that here, it's going to go in and brute force this. So saying, okay, well, I need to figure out what this actually means. And if we were to look into this right here, it's here somewhere. And hopefully it doesn't take me long. Otherwise, I would just search for it. There we go. It looks like it's number 13, that right there. But let's double check. I can go right here. I can go right here in the little section here and type in cyber. If you know the first few words of what you were looking for, you just maybe put it there and then it's going to give it that back to you. And as we can see, brute force, ROT13 brute force went in and was able to brute force this and able to figure out what this gibberish here is right there. Nothing we can do to this. Let me go ahead and just get the original one. Let me paste that here one more time. We can also apply XOR. Just go to the operations section here and search for XOR. And then just grab XOR and drop it right here into the recipe. As you saw, when we add this XOR, we didn't really, it didn't really change the output. Why is that? It's because of the key. So right here, I can just say, hey, go ahead and XOR this by 1. And as you can see, it went in, it's doing exactly just that, right? And it's instead of saying, C, it's a B, and so on and so forth. But what if you want to use a bigger key? Well, I can just say, hey, let's try with 14. Look at that. Look at that. It's going in, it's XORing this by 14, which is good. So again, just like what we did with the ROT13, imagine if you are given this output and then you don't know what they use. You don't know the kind of key that they use with XOR. Well, you can copy that and put that there at the top, remove that and add the XOR brute force. Now drop that in there. It's going to go in and do the brute forcing. And look at that. I mean, the original, it's here somewhere. It's here somewhere in all of this. But again, like we did with the first one, we can search for it. So if we type in cyber here, it's coming back. It's telling us line 14 here says CyberPros training. Cyber is all we teach. And as well as line 34 does have the word cyber in it. Now, this is all great stuff. So let's go ahead and take this to the next level. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the recipe as well as remove the input, which is going to automatically remove the output as well. Now let's go ahead and play around with ciphers, specifically with the PGP. This is a pretty good privacy algorithm, which is going to allow us to create, create asymmetrical encryption keys, like that key pair, using the RSA algorithm. So I'm going to go to the operations again here and just search for PGP right there. So right now there's a few of them, including generate a key pair. So if I were to take this and drag that here, by the way, what we're doing right now, it's really good if you are studying for things like Security Plus or the CISSP, because most of the time we talk about this in a theory, right? We tell you, oh, there's asymmetrical encryption. You can encrypt things using two keys. You get private key and public key. But if you've never seen that in action, this is a really good way of getting a hang of it, right? So let's take a look at this. So I can generate a key pair by dragging the recipe of generating a key pair. And right now it's using the RSA 1024. I can also change that to ECC or either one of these if I wanted to. I can also set a password for this key. But automatically here, it went in, it generated a key pair. There is this private key, right? Private key right there. And if I scroll down all the way down, I can also see a public key has been generated. Private and public key, which is good. Now, if you remember from your studies, maybe your Security Plus studies or CISSP, one of the things that we talk about is that you can share the public key with anybody. You can share this online so people can send you encrypted messages, which is great. But the private key, you want to keep it to yourself. Let's go ahead and do that exactly thing. I'm going to go ahead and save this, save the output. And let me go ahead and save this as Francois key.txt, right? Francois key.txt. All right. I'm going to save that. And that will be saved in the downloads. Let's go ahead and just put those in the download folder, right? And now, if I were to go into the download folder, let me go ahead and bring that up. Let me go ahead and put that here so you get to see this. If we go to the download folder, there's this Francois key. And let me double click on that so I can be able to bring this here. Let me go ahead and bring that in here for us. There we go. And as you can see, this is the public key. This is the private key. This right here is the private key. And starting right here going down, it's the public key. Again, I can share this with anybody that I want to talk to or anybody that I want them to send me some encrypted messages. All right, let me go ahead and minimize that. We'll come back to that in a minute. And let me go back to CyberChef. So I'll go ahead and remove this because now I have my own private and public key. Let's say that I wanted to communicate with you. And whoever you are, let me say, just want to communicate with you securely. And we don't want anybody to know what we're talking about. So you, from your end, can generate a key pair. Grab that and just put that there. Generate the same exactly key pair. It's not the same thing. This is completely different. But you're generating your own key pair. And let's go ahead and save yours as well. I'm going to save this as user1.txt. Okay. I'm going to save that into the download section in there as well. Now that we have both of these saved, let me go ahead and close this again. Go ahead and delete that recipe again. Now we can encrypt things and send those things to each other. So let's say that I want to send you an encrypted message, right? What I can do, I can go right here and grab a PGP, encrypt, drag that here. And they're asking me, hey, for you to be able to send an encrypted message to anybody, you must know their public key. Remember that you will share your public key also. I will share my public key also. So that if anybody wants to send me encrypted message, they can just use that public key and send that over to me. So let's go back to the downloads folder, and let's say that I want to send you, user, you who's watching this, some encrypted message. So I can grab your public key, which you shared online, right? Anybody can grab, can access this. I can grab this public key of yours and go ahead and copy that. Then go back to CyberChef here. There we go. And I can paste that key here. Let me go Control V and then paste that. And you can also right click on it and then paste that key there like that. Okay. Now the key has been pasted in there. Okay. Now all I have to do is just generate a message that I want to send it to you securely. And as I generate the message, you will look at the output. It's going to keep changing. So right now I can say, hello, Mr. Student. Thank you so much for watching this video. There we go. Now it was doing it. Let me just do one so you can get to see how it's changing. I'm gonna go ahead and just delete that there. But this is the message I want to send it to you. I just say top secret. There we go. All right. So this is the top secret message that I want to send it to you. And I want to make sure that nobody else can access this. So I can save that. All right. And I just call this secret. There we go. That text. I can just save this output into the desktop here. Into the downloads, excuse me. And right now, if I go here and double click on the secret, you should only see this. There we go. Only the encrypted message. So if I were to take this file and then send it to you, right now, only you can decrypt it. Like, not even a government in between. If they grab this, they won't be able to open it up. They won't be able to open it up. Only you, because again, you have that key pair. You have the private key that can open this, which has been encrypted with your, right back, your public key. Okay, let's say that you want to be able to decrypt this. So how you do that? Well, I'm going to go ahead and remove this. Remove all of that. Remove everything. There we go. And let's go ahead and bring in the decrypt. So I can just grab the PGP decrypt right here. And right now, for you to be able to decrypt this, you only need your private key. Remember, even anybody else who grab this, they're not going to be able to decrypt it because they don't have your private key. So right now I can load up that file by clicking on open file as input. Okay, and go back to downloads here and then grab the secret file right there. And right now, look at that. This is the encrypted message. So they're saying, hey, you don't have the right to see this, right? You don't have the right to see what's in here. So the way for me to decrypt this, I can just go back to this section here and just grab user one private key. So I go here, I grab this private key. I'm going to copy that, go back to CyberChef. I'm going to paste that in there. And as soon as I paste that in there, look at that. Now we can see our top secret message. Now we can see our top secret message. So this is the asymmetrical encryption, where we have two keys. We have that key pair. And whenever something is encrypted with one, it can be decrypted with another and vice versa. But I just, as we can see, this is practical. Okay. Another thing that they often talk about in cybersecurity, specifically cryptography classes, it's doing a non-repudiation, where somebody cannot deny sending you a file or sending you that email. For them to be able not to deny that, they're going to have to digitally sign that thing they're sending to you. And the way you do that, let's go ahead and close this. And I'm going to end that lab there because, it's getting a little bit longer. I'm going to go ahead and close that as well. But let's say that we want to do non-repudiation. Okay. One thing that I can do, I can bring this on the encrypted and sign, PGP encrypted and sign. And right here, they're going to ask me for a few things. One, they're looking for the private key of the sender, and they're looking for the public key of the recipient. Okay. In another word, if I'm going to send you a message where you need to know is me who sent it, I needed to digitally sign that message with my private key. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that exact thing. Let's say me, Francois, I want to be able to send you an encrypted message, and I want to make sure that I cannot repudiate that message. So what I can do, I can go here and grab Francois's private key. There we go. I'm going to bring that up. Let me go up here. I'm going to grab Francois's private key. Let me copy that, Control C on the keyboard, or do that. Then I can paste that in here into PGP. Okay, and let's say that the message I want to send it to you, it's a top secret. This is a social security number of me, right? Top secret. Please do not share. There we go. This is that top secret. Okay, so here's what I need. After signing this with my private key to give you that non-repudiation, to make sure later on I cannot deny that I didn't send this message, all I need to do now is use your public key to be able to send you this very top secret. So let me go back here and then grab your public key. Remember, you cannot share your private key with anybody. Your private key is yours. All you have shared is the public key, and this is the one that people can use to send you encrypted message. So I can grab that right there. I'm going to copy this right quickly and go back here and paste that in there. And as soon as I paste that in there, they went in and they encrypted this, right? This social security number has been encrypted. So this is the top secret message, if you will, that I cannot repudiate. So let's go ahead and save that. I'm going to go ahead and save this as non-repudiation. There we go. The text. There we go. All right, I'm not even sure if I'm spelling that right. Anyway, so I'm going to save that and just save that into the download section. There we go. And now this is done. I can go ahead and just delete all of this. And if I want, I can just send you that non-repudiation to anybody, right? I can send this to anybody. They won't be able to open it unless they have your private key. So let's say that I want to send this to you. Let's say this was an email that I just sent it to you, and I digitally signed that email. So how do you know exactly it came from me? Well, you can use this PGP decrypt and verify. I'm going to drop that in there, grab that and drop that in there. And once you have that there, let's go ahead and load up the non-repudiation file. Go back there, non-repudiation, bring that in. There we go. This is the encrypted file. This is that top secret. So what I need to be able to see this and be able to verify that non-repudiation, one, I need I need Francois's public key, because remember, he signed this. He signed this with his private key, and this is how I will verify it truly did come from him. So I can go back here, go back to Francois, and just grab his public key. Remember, he shared this anywhere on the web so that people can be able to open what he sends. So I can paste that in there into the public key. Now, because Francois digitally sent this using the private key, the user one private, user one public key, I will need my private key as user one to be able to open it. So I'm going to go back here and go to user one and grab the public key of user one. There we go. Grab that and let's paste that into this section. There we go. And as soon as I paste that in there, because I don't have any like password or passphrase, anything that I need to put it in there. So as soon as I paste that in, it's automatically going in and decrypt this. So as you can see, this is the original message right there. SSN of me top secret. So this is a non-repudiation. Francois cannot come back and say, that didn't come from me. Oh, yes, it did. Yes, it did. And the reason is because you have digitally signed this with your private key. And the only way for me to open this, I did that with your public key. That's how I know it did come from you, Mr. Francois. Okay, so this is a CyberChef. There is a lot you can do here than just these, few things that I just showed you. Again, you can do some hashing. You can do all kinds of stuff. But if you go on the web and search for CyberChef recipe, there we go. And let me just click on one of these. I'll put this in the description as well. You can see a lot of CyberChef recipes here. For example, if we take a look at down here, there we go. We can see a bunch of recipes. Extracting base 64. We can see things like group policy, right? Char code, multi-stage, com scripts, right? Extracting GPS coordinates. So there's a bunch of recipes that you can play with. And for example, let's just say we click on this recipe for group policy. And you got, these people who've shared how they did it. And they have like pages and screenshots on Twitter or some kind of a website. And the beauty is they put the recipe here. This is the recipe right here. You can see you get it from base 64 and that was the whole thing. Then you convert that to hex and so on and so forth. Then you can copy this, literally you can copy that and then come back into CyberChef and then just paste that into that, like that, to be able to kind of get the recipe going. So this is just like a very basic thing I wanted to show it to you. But if you work with CyberChef, if maybe the job you do involves CyberChef, there's a lot of recipes online that you can play with to kind of improve your CyberChef skills. If you've made this far, I have a favor to ask you. I just want to ask you to subscribe. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and to share this video with your friends, people who are going to benefit from this video or from what I do. And if you want to learn cybersecurity, you've come home. Please check out the website. I have a lot of great resources there. I will see you in the class.